Look, normally I would be crapping on a team by now because they have a horrible record, but I feel like this team really doesn't deserve it due to the just sheer amount of bullshit that they've gone through this season. And the team that I'm talking about right now is the Cincinnati Bengals. And what hasn't been said about this team already? They've been losing incredibly close games, barely beating good opponents, but yet keeping up with some of the big boys in the league, like almost beating the Steelers, almost beating the Chargers, almost beating the Ravens, and then getting absolutely blown out by teams like the Eagles. It's a rough season for them, and there's not really much else that can really be said other than the fact that Joe Burrow is having a spectacular season right now, and he's being completely and utterly wasted on this team. However, I don't think it's all doom and gloom, at least for this year. It's one bad season, they tend to happen, and next season will probably be the year that they get some stuff together. It just really sucks because this seems like to be the time where they could have repeated, since Mahomes has looked the weakest he's ever been. The Ravens have been flip-floppy in terms of whether they want to be good or not. The Bills are, granted, probably the best team in the AFC because Josh Allen is just a super beast, but also then they still have some flaws within their game. Not to mention, too, teams like the Chargers and Broncos are in the playoff spots right now. So, in general, it is just a rough spot for the Bengals to be in. And this was really the year to start doing something, and it just, unfortunately, isn't going to come down to it. Now, people are going to ask, who can you really blame? Well, when you look at it this way, the Bengals have been having to score 30 points a game in order to win games. But even then, at the start of the season, I mean, holding the Giants, holding the Browns, holding the Patriots, like they were strong defensively to begin the season. But it just seems ever since the Ravens game, it's just been a steadily downward spiral into more and more bullshit. Granted, they got on a 2-game winning streaks against probably 2 of the worst teams in the league at the time. But in general, it's sad to see the Bengals like this. Chase Brown is having a really exciting rookie season. Nobody cares about that. Jamar Chase is having statistically one of his best seasons so far up to right now. Nobody cares about that. Joe Burrow might have one of the greatest quarterbacking seasons of all time, and nobody cares about that. It's just, oh, the Bengals suck because they can't close games. And that's a rough pill to swallow. I can blame Zach Taylor for still being the most lame duck head coach of all time and being a bigger lame duck than Doug Peterson is a wild task to reach. But Zach Taylor has done it, and it's just, it's entirely frustrating because, like I said, there's so much potential with this team. But there's not really much that you can really do when you're the Bengals. You're 4-8. The Broncos are 8-5 right now, meaning that they're probably going to get in a playoff spot unless the Broncos end up losing out. Which, then again, Bengals play Broncos later on in the season, but I don't think that's going to result in a Bengals win. Regardless, it's a sad state of affairs for the Bengals right now. And the only thing I can really just say is that Super Bowl feels so long. That feels so long ways away. That was only in like 2021, by the way. And this season has just been a complete and utter drag for this team. But who knows? Maybe they can route something around and finish off the season 7-10 or something. There's not much else that you can really talk about with this team other than they've been a disappointment from the moment go. I should have been the sign when they struggled against the Patriots, but everyone thought, the Bengals struggle early season, so it doesn't really matter. But, yeah, it is not good.